Keira Knightley, the actress who earned an Oscar nomination for 2005's Pride and Prejudice, is back in the corset once again. This time she plays the lead in The Dutchess, a film about Georgina Spencer, Princess Diana's great-great-great-great-aunt. Set in late 18th century England, she's a woman who's beautiful, popular, and adored, yet also lonely for her husband's affections and under tremendous pressure to live under strict social rules in the limelight of her day. Sounds familiar? Keira Knightley, good morning. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Back in the corset again. What do you like about these period pieces?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's just being able to dive into a complete fantasy world. I think that's what I love. It's complete escapism.
Is it easier to do that in full regalia than it is, you know, if you were in jeans and T-shirt playing a different kind of character?
Kind of, yeah. I think, you know, if you're playing a modern-day piece, then you know what society's like today. You know how we speak. You know how we dress. It's sort of, I find it quite confining, whereas you do something like this, and it allows your imagination to run riot.
But is it harder, though, and maybe this is more of a director's question than an actress's or an actor's question, is it hard to make those characters relevant to a modern audience? How do you connect people in the theater to someone who lived hundreds of years ago?
I think we haven't changed emotionally. I think the emotions are exactly the same, and if you're playing, normally in characters, you know, obviously you're dealing with their emotions. Obviously society in itself has changed quite a bit, although not completely, so that's kind of wonderful because you have this alien aspect of it, but actually, I don't think we've changed that much.
It seems the press wants to draw some other, or connect the threads in other ways between Georgina and Diana.
Yeah.
And I read an interview you gave lately, you said, look, I'm not playing Diana, I'm playing Georgina. First of all, does the comparison bother you?
I don't know. I mean, I think that she's a fascinating character in her own right, so I think that she sort of definitely is interesting enough to warrant a movie without needing to draw parallels. And I think it's very difficult when that wasn't my intention in making the film. It wasn't to try and say, oh, actually, you know, we're doing a Diana biopic. It was completely about Georgina. So I guess so.
I understand the problem. The similarities are extremely beautiful, extremely popular, adored by the people in her country, and this idea that she could seduce almost any man over the one she wanted the attention from was her own husband, and she couldn't seem to manage that.
Well, there you go.
I've just told the story.
You said it, not me.
Let's take a look at a clip from the movie, and this is where she understands, I'm talking Georgina here, how to use her popularity.
Yeah.
Okay?
The Dutchess of Devonshire.
Somebody did indeed ask me what kind of feather it is that I'm wearing. Well, there are only two specimens of this rare bird known to man. One of them has clearly ended up on top of my head. And the other, rumour has it, is running for office in the Tory party.
Tell me about how her life unfolded. What do we need to know about her?
Well, I think really it's the story of a girl who is incredibly naive and sort of and romantic and a fantasist going into a very, very harsh reality. You know, she was married when she was 17 and very happily married, you know, was sort of expecting this big, white, fantastical wedding, and it sort of all went a bit wrong. So she I think probably because she can't get the attention that she wants from her husband and from family members, she sort of dives into politics and fashion and everything else.
The only critical thing I read about this from a critic was that the critic wanted to see more. The critic wanted to see more of the evolution of this character and see her into later portions of her life as a strong mother. And does that resonate at all with you?
Well, you know, I think it's the difficulty in trying to do a film from a biography. You know, there's so much to her life. She died when she was 48, but she crammed so much in. And I think it's the problem with film as a medium is you only ever have 2 hours to tell a story, and you have to be very specific about the story you're going to tell. So we were specifically dealing with the period of her life, which was, you know, the kind of menage a trois, I suppose, aspect of it, and not necessarily with the later part of her life. I think definitely there would be a film, I mean, absolutely, that would be fascinating.
And the great compliment the critic paid you was in saying, I wanted to see more, and he said, I think Keira Knightley could have pulled it off. She could have taken us through those other periods.
Well, we'll try and do a sequel in a couple of years.
When you get finished with a movie like this, where you're in that kind of costume, you know, for however many weeks or months, do you just want to go home and put jeans and a T-shirt on?
Yeah. I mean, it was absolute murder. It really was. It was, you can't breathe. You can't, I mean, the wigs are so heavy I couldn't actually hold my head up. But, I mean, it looks good, so that's the main thing.
Well, again, you're getting great reviews in this, and it's always nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Keira, thank you so much. The movie is called The Dutchess, and it makes its way to theaters on September 19th.